Add to stage. There we go. Hello, hello, everybody. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. I was running into webcam issues. My webcam and my microphone do not want to work today. So I'm using my computer's microphone and webcam. So it's going to look like crap, but that's okay. Let me know if you can hear me. That's the most important thing. If you can't hear me, what's the point? So I am going to jump into a bunch of different housekeeping things we have to talk about today, including the conclusion of the October challenge and the beginning of the November challenge, and then a bunch of other fun stuff that has been going on and that is coming up. So yes, if you can hear me, please let me know in the description. Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me, and I will then get started. Good to see everybody. It's been a minute. I have been extremely busy, and I'm going to share with you exactly why. All right. I've got 2 people saying they can hear me loud and clear, so we're going to get started. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Okay. First of all, I want to thank ButcherBox for sponsoring today's video. Oh my God. This is the turkey they sent me. So right now they have a deal going on for new members. You will get either a free 10 to 14 pound turkey. This is a 13.5 pound turkey, or a spiral ham or a turkey breast with your first box. And I think that deal is going on until the 19th of November. There's a link in the description. It will take you right over to whatever special they are having right now. You can go buy. Oh, do you want to take the turkey? Thanks. Back in the freezer. You're so funny. So yeah, you can their deals. They also have a really amazing deal. I think the best one of the year coming up, the 1st through the 3rd. So definitely check them out. I'm going to be cooking that turkey. We always spatchcock our turkey. So, cut out the spine, spread it out, and then we are going to, I don't know what we're going to do this year. Goran wants to do a few different things, but I have to do the recipe for my book. So I think that turkey is going to be the photo that we are going to take whenever we cook it. I think after next weekend. Yay! Okay, so that's that. Next up, I wanted to talk about the October challenge. Before I do that, though, I'm going to get to all of your questions and all of that kind of stuff after I go through all of this housekeeping stuff. So if you have any questions related to carnivore, keto, things like that, leave them in the comment section now, and I'll go back to the beginning and I will go through all of them. Also, if you have any big wins on carnivore or keto, leave them over there as well. Any difficulties you're running into, let us know. We are here to answer all of these questions, and we always have a really great crew in the comment section that is really knowledgeable and has some great suggestions for any kind of issues that you're having. So if you're running into a problem, please say something, put it into the comment section. We want to help. Okay, October challenge. So every month we do a challenge. And the past few months, it has just been like, come up with a challenge that's going to be challenging to you. So for me in October, what did I do? I wanted to do a continuation of my exercise goal. So I've been trying to keep up with strength training and walking. And then I also wanted to do a continuation of fasting. I started fasting, doing sardine fasts in September, and I did a couple of 24-hour fasts. And I just wanted to continue that momentum. I will say that the exercise has been a bit lax in October. I've been so busy writing this book. I am writing a book. Got a book deal in July. It is basically 2 books in one, so I'm kind of drowning in writing right now. The first half of the book is a complete in-depth guide to the carnivore diet. The second half of the book is a cookbook. So I have been doing that in addition to filming a ton of videos for November. I think I have like 10 or 12 videos for November. So yeah, it's just been kind of crazy over here in Jenny Mitich land. But it's all going to be amazing. Super excited about it. Now, while the exercise has fallen to the wayside a bit, I have been fasting. So we've been doing, let's see, every week from Monday morning until Friday morning, my husband and I are fasting. He's doing a water fast. I'm doing sardine fasts. So that's been going really well. And the reason we're doing that is because on the weekends, we're testing recipes for the cookbook. So I have to test a few more recipes out. I also have to cook the recipe, even if I've already tested it and it's perfect. I need to cook it for photos. So that's what I've been doing every single weekend, is trying to bust out like 10 to 12 different recipes, cooking them, taking photos of them, getting the, proportions of each ingredient exactly the way I want them, and then moving on. But I didn't want to just do that all month of October, because then I would have gained like 20 pounds. Just so much food is being cooked in this household right now. So we've been fasting, and it's been really great. The last, let's see, we started this fast. We're actually doing a long one. We always do one long fast every month. And we started, I think, on Tuesday of last week. I think we're on day 8, 9. No, day 9. We're on day 9 today of a sardine fast. So that's been going really well. It's been very effective. I've lost a lot of weight. I went from, let's see, I think I started the month at 152.8 and I'm now 147.2, which is a new low for me on carnivore and a new low for me, like in life. I have not been 147 pounds since probably my early 20s. So that's awesome. I'm going to do my final weigh-in for October on November 1st. Well, I'll probably, I'll weigh myself tomorrow, and then on November 1st, get my November 1st weight. But yeah, it's going really, really well. Very pleased with the fasting, and I will have several sardine fast related videos for you in the next month or two, because I've been running a few fun blood work experiments while doing the fasting. So that should be fun. As far as November, my November challenge for myself is to finish this book. That's what I need to do. I need to get it all in by November 30th. My deadline is the 15th, but if I have a few little, things to do here and there and get like a few more recipes or whatever to get photos for, I have until the end of the month, basically. So that's my main goal for November. It's going to be a bit crazy. I don't know how many live streams I'm going to be able to do. I really, really, really just need to get this book done. But yeah, that'll be fun. I'm also, for everyone else though, I'm the only person in right now that I know of writing a book. For everyone else, what do you want your November challenge to be is my question to you. I want you to take a look at the month of November, and I want you to think of any kind of parties you have to go to, what your Thanksgiving is going to look like. Do you do a ton of Black Friday stuff? And I want you to write down any, difficulties that you may encounter this month. And I want you to come up with a plan for each of those things. We're coming into the holiday season. Tomorrow is Halloween, candy and all the stuff. And then you've got Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then just so many things. So I think the best way to deal with, these high carb related holidays is to have a plan and figure out what you're going to do. For me, I do a keto cheat meal on Thanksgiving. So I'll have the green bean casserole, I'll have the corn, I'll have whatever. And then every other, year, I'll probably have a piece of pie. I don't know if this year is going to be a pie year for me. We honestly don't even know what we're doing for Thanksgiving yet. I don't know if I'm going to my dad's or if we're hosting it at my in-laws' house. So we'll figure that out. But for me, I always do a keto cheat meal. For you, what are you going to do? Figure that out. That is going to be the November challenge, is figuring out what difficulties you're going to encounter, making plans for them, and then making it through all of that stuff. So let me know about your November challenge. In the carnivore community, you can share all of that stuff. I think I have a link in the description for the Jenny Mitich Carnivore Community. Great group of people over there. I think we're at like 600 people or something like that. But we have probably like 15 to 25 people that are like regularly posting. So it's really nice. Let's see here. Like I said, I'm writing a book. I will have more information about that book for you in about, I don't know, probably by the end of this month. I'd really like to, the listing will be up, the cover will be done. It'll start being available for pre-order, and I'll be able to dive into more details. There is one thing I wanted to reach out to you guys for in the community. I am looking for several more carnivore testimonials to include in the book. And if this is something you would like to do, if carnivore has changed your life and you would like to share your story with other people, in the link of this live stream, you can, my email is there. Send me an email. Let me know that you would like to write a testimonial, and I will send you the form. It's like a release form. You then also type up your testimonial, like 750 words, 500 to 750 words, something like that. Put that in, sign it. And if you do this testimonial, you will receive a free copy of the book when it comes out. And you'll also be helping lots and lots of people do, that are wanting to start the carnivore diet. Sometimes when people are starting carnivore, they want to read a few testimonials from other people that are like them. And that's kind of like the final push in the right direction. So if you would like to share your story and be included in this book, let me know. Send me an email and I will get you all the information that you need. Let's see here. I've got another special project in the works for the holiday season that I'm going to be sharing in about, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks. And I think you guys are really, really, really going to like it. We've been working really hard to come up with some cool stuff. And I can't wait to share that secret project with you. It will be very fun. A couple more things before we get to your questions. So be sure to get your questions in and let's keep going. Hack Your Health. The Hack Your Health conference is going to be in Tampa next year. It's in November, from I think November 14th to the 16th. Now I know that is over a year away, but there is an extreme early bird special going on right now where you can get $100 off of the price of admission. That would make the ticket, I think, $99, which is it's so cheap for this amazing conference. I'm going to be there. My husband is going to be there. And I do have a link in the description to get that $100 off. Now that code, this early bird special ends tomorrow night. So after that, there will not be a discount this good again. So if you know that you're going to go to the Hack Your Health conference next year, you might as well pick up your ticket and save $100, Also, another conference that I'm going to, my husband and I are going to, is the Symposium for Metabolic Health. The next one is in Boca Raton, Florida, January 24th to the 26th, 2025. Now, this conference is a bit more sciencey. A lot of really big names in the keto carnivore space will be there, and a lot of it is sharing research, papers, things like that. It's pretty high level stuff, but it's open to the public. And this will be the third symposium that I've gone to. I went to the Boca in January this year. I went to San Diego in August. And now, so January and August are when they do these symposiums. Totally worth it. It's such a good lineup. I put a link in the description to their website so you can head over and see if you want to do that. And if there's enough people from my community that are there, we can, have a get together, go get dinner or something. It'll be super fun. And we'll learn stuff, which we love doing. Yay. Okay, that's all about conferences. Final two things. I just released a video that goes over my weight loss stall that I have finally overcome. I had a weight loss stall for like 7 months, and you can run into weight loss stalls on carnivore. It does happen. It is possible. So I was waiting a very long time to make that video until I'd actually consistently lost the weight and gotten over the stall, and now I have. So be sure to check out that video. Link is in the description. Also just on my YouTube channel, you'll see it. And then last night, I released my response to the whole element electrolytes controversy. A lot of people have some strong opinions on this. I did some testing of their packets on my glucose and ketones and things like that, and also on my husband's. He's insulin resistant, where I am not, so we might have a different, effect. So yeah, check out that video. That one is also linked in the description, and in the comments of that video, let me know your opinion on the entire thing. I love hearing, people's opinions on this, and I think that it's an important issue. So that's all I have for updates. I love it. Let's go over to our questions, because that's what we're really here for, right? Okay. Christine, yay. So happy I'm catching this live. I usually have to watch the replay. I'm so happy you're here. I'm glad that you can see. And then we have people letting me know that they can hear me. Everybody's saying hello, hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here, Vicky. Shannon, hello. Okay, so here's a question. Michelle Campbell, I had asked you recently about the hair loss. You told me to check my thyroid. Turns out after listening to the video with Amy, all my thyroid levels are almost identical to yours. Hashimoto's. Wow, that's crazy. And I am so happy that you finally know what's going on. That was the biggest thing for me, was my conventional doctor just, was like, oh, TSH is normal. You're fine. Even though my hair's falling out, I'm exhausted. I'm having all the classic thyroid symptoms. Very frustrating. So I'm so happy I found Dr. Amy. I'm actually working with her team now to get everything back in order, and I'm feeling a lot better. I started T3 medication on, let's see, I think it's been a week and a half, and I'm definitely not perfect. I'm not going to say it was like, oh my God, amazing, but the veil is lifting a bit. Like I don't feel as tired. I have a bit more energy. It's kind of amazing that that's all it was. And my conventional doctor was like, no, you're fine. Ugh, so frustrating. So, Michelle, I am so happy that you are finding out and have found out that, oh, you need to go see a thyroid practitioner for sure. Cindy, hello, hello. Vicky, how long did it take you to get to 147? I missed what you said. So, I started on the carnivore diet on December 27th, 2022. And so almost, what is that? 22 months. 22 months I've been on carnivore, and I'm now down to 147. I am sardine fasting right now. So on Friday when I start eating again, I'll probably get down to like 146 or 145 point something. I'll go back up to probably 150. It's not like that is going to be the final number, but every time I do these fasts and then go back to my go back to my high fat carnivore eating, I, go up a little bit and then go back down, and then you go up a little bit and then go back down. So it's just kind of a not a linear path down, but it is eventually going down. So yeah, took some time. And like I said, I just got over a 7-month carnivore weight loss stall. And I've had 3 of those weight loss stalls in my almost 2 years on carnivore because of the Hashimoto's hypothyroid stuff that I did not know was a thing. So I think, once these thyroid meds fully kick in too, I'll probably end up losing another 5 or 10 pounds just from the inflammation from the hypothyroid. So, all right, Vicky, I don't want to cheat for November. Going to make Thanksgiving a carnivore dinner and try to be a part of the meal preparation. I love that. That's awesome. And a great idea. I have a video on my channel that is Thanksgiving recipes, carnivore Thanksgiving recipes. I think there's 5 or 6 of them on it. So be sure to check out that video. It is 100% possible to stay carnivore on Thanksgiving or during the holidays. Be sure to get your questions in if you have them. Legend gone viral. What do you do if you feel like you're low in energy? So many things. So, oh God, it could be so many things. First of all, I would make sure you're eating enough food. That's pretty common on carnivore. People are under eating because you're not as hungry. You don't have those crazy glucose spikes that you used to have and all that stuff. So make sure you're eating enough food, and make sure you're eating enough protein and enough fat. So protein wise, I like to do 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So for me, I want to weigh 130 pounds. So I aim for a minimum of 130 grams of protein per day. Is that an exact science? No, I can do less. As long as I'm getting at least like 90 to 100 grams of protein per day on the regular, I'm a happy camper. As far as fat goes, I like to keep my fat at 70%, my macros at 70% fat to 30% protein minimum. I typically eat much higher fat than that. I'm typically, 80% fat to 20% protein most of the time. And all that, like if you're doing a 70-30 fat to protein ratio, all that means is you're eating 1 gram of fat for every 1 gram of protein that you're eating, because fat has 9 calories, protein has 4. So let's just say I'm consuming 130 grams of protein per day. That means if I wanted to be at a 70% fat to 30% protein macro split, I would need to be consuming around 130 grams of fat as well. And the only way you really know if you're, hitting those macros is by tracking your food in a, food tracker. So I use MyFitnessPal. That's all good stuff and easy stuff to look at if you're low in energy in the beginning. Electrolytes, they can be helpful, especially if you're in the beginning of carnivore. Fatigue is a pretty common keto flu symptom, and that could be an electrolyte imbalance. It could be thyroid stuff. If you have extreme fatigue, like, oh my God, wiped out, and it's paired with some other classic thyroid symptoms like you can't lose weight, or you're gaining weight, or you're really cold or really hot all the time. If you're losing hair in the corner of your eyebrows, or just like losing hair on your head. What are some other classics? Irregular menstrual cycles, if you are female, things like that. It could be thyroid, and I would probably want to get that tested. And then there's other things that are not food related, sleep, stress, heavy workload, lots of things could be contributing. So I would want to take a look at all that stuff too and make sure those are dialed in as well. Captain Philly, having trouble getting enough calories without overdoing the protein. I don't think overdoing the protein is too big of a deal for most people. It's really hard to overeat protein because it's just so satiating. But yeah, what amount of protein are you consuming on a daily basis, and what amount of fat are you eating? It's really hard to overdo protein. So let me know, what you're aiming for. Like, what's your current weight? What's your ideal weight? How many grams of protein are you consuming a day? That kind of thing. Okay. Becca, I hear about organ meat of liver and hearts, but not a lot of talk about gizzards. What are your thoughts on gizzards? Gizzards are great. They are full of some vitamins. I know vitamin C, A is pretty big in liver. They have a lot of vitamins. I think they're totally doable. If you enjoy eating them, go right ahead. I think they are awesome. Woo woo. Rock bottom. Hello, hello. We'll see you at the Meat Fest 2025 in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I am so excited for that conference. It'll be my first time going. I'm speaking. I'm doing something for it. I haven't really figured out what that is yet because it's so far away. But that is going to be amazing. And if you would like to attend that, there are still tickets for the conference side of meat stock. Meat stock, right? Not Meat Fest. I'm so tired. I'm sorry. Yes, very excited about that. Okay. Tima Montano. Why do some women who go low carb or carnivore start spotting? Great question. I do not know. Some of the theories I've heard, well, I mean, one of the things with carnivore and low carb is that it increases your fertility. So it could just be your menstrual cycle is doing something different. I did not experience spotting of any kind when I started carnivore, and my period is typically pretty regular. So that's a really good question that I do not have the answer to. My 3 dogs says, hello from Wyoming. Elia says, hi, hello. All right, Christine. Captain Philly, I have that issue too. I have to make sure to get enough fat more than protein. Yes, for sure. Okay. Moses, in your conversation with Amber, she mentioned the predictable way people fail is that they likely don't eat enough. Why is it important to keep calories up? Should you just eat to satiety or more? Okay, great question. And it's totally true. I feel like if people don't eat enough, they start to get really low energy. And if people are eating really lean meats and not enough fat, that can really tank their energy levels too. And then they're just like, ugh, carnivore didn't work for me. When then really they need to eat more food. It's not necessarily just like the calories. It's just making sure you're getting enough to where you feel good. And in the beginning, that can be really hard to do because your hunger cues are all wackadoodle. So I have a couple of different recommendations for eating enough. When you are in the beginning, I always tell everybody, just start by eating until you're comfortably stuffed. And that's going to be a different amount for all people. And then don't eat again until you're truly hungry. You should be eating 2 times a day, probably, let's say, at least. I'm not a big fan of OMAD. It is effective for some people, and some people thrive with it. But a lot of the people I talk to are doing at least 2 meals per day, and some do 3. It's just break it up for you. And then, you know, people that have gastric bypass stuff, they have to do 5, 6, 7 really small meals per day because their, you know, digestive system is not intact. So you got to make it work for you. Now, if you find that you are only hungry once a day and you're only eating, I don't know, 500 to 1,000 calories, that's when I would say schedule yourself a second meal and then eat something at that meal. You really want to be getting a minimum of like at least 1,600 to 1,800 calories per day. All of that stuff that's out there and all the fitness apps of like 1,200 calories a day, 1,300 calories a day, that's enough food for like a child. An adult, especially an adult that's working full time, working out, you know, physically active, even a sedentary adult should not be eating less than like 1,600 calories per day, even on a carnivore diet. So I think if you're not hungry, you need to eat more. Pick a meal time and eat. I have no problem eating enough food. I am an eater. I eat a lot. So I'm eating, you know, when I'm eating a normal carnivore diet between 2,000 and 2,500 calories easily in a day. I can go as high as 3,500 like that. Piece of cake. I'm also 2 years in though. So it's a little bit different from my experience if you are just in the beginning. Legend gone viral. Do you do protein aside from the food you're eating, like shakes or anything? Me personally, no, I do not. I have no problem getting between 100 and 200 grams of protein per day the way that I eat. So no, I don't do any protein shakes. I'm trying to think if I have any other kind of protein besides meat, eggs. I'll do like carnivore bars are really good. They have 20 grams of protein and 35 grams of fat. And if you're doing one of the honey ones, it also has 7 grams of carbs. So that's but that's dehydrated ground beef. So that's still technically meat. So no, I don't do any shakes or anything like that. But my thought on those things is that totally doable. I would say find a protein shake that is not full of flavors and fillers and extra stuff, corn syrup or dextrose or vegetable seed oils are in a lot of them. There's some good high quality protein powders out there though. And if that's something that you want to incorporate, you know, make it work for you. I wouldn't rely on that though for the bulk of my protein. I prefer to get protein from whole food sources. That's just me. Yeah, that's that answer. Moses is in. What is SA? Why don't I know what that is? Wow, I feel dumb. John, hey folks. Today I had 4 eggs, 3 slices of thick cut bacon for breakfast. Sounds delicious. I had sardines and it was not fun, but I am continuing. I think we already answered that question. John has been drinking his electrolytes. Good. I hope they're helping you feel better. I get wiped out because I get up early and stay up to about 11 p.m. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting up early and staying up that late, that is a problem. Question, does Louisiana hot sauce have oxalates? That's a really great question. I would need to look up the ingredients labels. I think Louisiana hot sauce is fine. The thing about oxalates or plant toxins in peppers is that a lot of them are in the seeds and or in the skin. So I just don't know how they're preparing the peppers, but we can look it up real quick. Okay, it's aged or sun-ripened hot peppers, distilled vinegar, and salt. There may also be xanthan gum, guar gum, sodium, alginate, as well as food dye. So Louisiana original hot sauce contains, yeah. I mean, some of them would contain xanthan gum. If you're not sensitive to that, a tiny little amount that's in hot sauce is really not that big of a deal, in my opinion. I think it's fine. I would consume this. I usually do Cholula hot sauce. That's my hot sauce of choice. But yeah, I don't see that's a big deal. As far as if it has oxalates, I would say minimal. I would look up Sally Norton's book to be sure, but I think it would be minimal. Drop zone 7. How do you deal with a spouse that loves eating out all the time and door dashing? I feel like a party pooper not joining in. Yeah, that would suck. I do not have that experience. My husband and I do this together. If we're door dashing together. Um, that would be really hard. Have you tried having a conversation with them about it and being honest about how it makes you feel? Um, Also, that's a lot of money to be spending. I mean, it's expensive. DoorDash is expensive. And going out to eat is expensive. So, I mean, maybe you could come at it from a financial perspective instead of a food, but I don't know. If it were me, I would just have a conversation with my spouse. He and I have excellent communication, so that wouldn't be a problem. But yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else out there have a suggestion of what Drop Zone 7 can do in this situation? Because that would really suck for sure. Legend gone viral. Me and my wife are 1 month in on the first, and I am down 15 pounds. Wow. Great work. Now, she is not seeing much weight loss at all. And you guys are eating the exact same foods for the most part. Um, it could be so many things. So many things. Are you guys eating dairy? That would be my first question. If so, cut the dairy. It's highly inflammatory, and that could be a reason why. I'd also want to see, is she tracking her food at all? What kind of health issues does she have? Does she have any? Is it just weight loss, or does she have some other health concerns? It's different. So, like when me and my husband started carnivore, I lost a bunch of weight and he lost none for like the first year and a half. We have finally got him moving in the right direction, where he's lost, let's see, he was at like 270, 275, and he's now at 232 on a fast. So he'll probably go back up to the high 230s when he starts eating again. But we're getting him moving in the right direction because we had to incorporate hardcore fasting with him because of his insulin resistance. So there's so many different things that could go into it. But that's interesting because you've lost the weight and your wife hasn't. Whereas for me, it was I lost the weight, my husband didn't. So interesting stuff. The human body is an incredible thing and very confusing sometimes. Lisa, your ranch dressing recipe is totally amazing. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I love that recipe. I put a ton of garlic in mine. And yes, I know it's not carnivore, but a little bit of garlic isn't going to kill you. I do like 6 cloves in my recipe for myself. It's so, so garlicky. John, the Beagle Dad. I cannot do the organ meat. Me neither. I don't eat organ meat. I have tried. I have tried so hard. I hate liver. I have some grass-fed, grass-finished beef pancreas, heart, spleen, and liver in my freezer, and it's just sitting there in the freezer, and it probably will until the end of time. I do beef organs from Heart and Soil. I don't take the supplements. I don't take them every day. I take them maybe 3 days a week, and that seems to do the trick for me. But if you don't like organ meat, don't eat it. I don't think it's necessary. Captain Philly. I'm 190 pounds. I try to get that in protein and fat, but when I do, I lose too much weight to maintain weight. So I end up eating around 250 grams. Great. Yeah. I mean, you got to do what works for you. And if you're not trying to lose too much weight, I mean, 190 is pretty good. I don't know what your, height is or anything like that. Yeah, that's totally fine. As long as you're feeling good and all that kind of stuff, keep it up. I can very easily eat 250 grams of protein and fat per day. Ginger, hey girl. Hey Jenny, just hopped on. What is going on? Oh, I just did my chair climber exercise challenge for the day. Man, you have been on it with these exercises. I see your updates in the Circle community. I haven't been posting as much in there, but I do go in and check, and you are being so consistent with your exercise. I'm super proud of you. That is amazing. What have your results been so far with all the exercise you've been doing, Ginger? Because you've been on it for sure. John, my all-time favorite is pork loin, bacon, salmon, and yes, ribeye when affordable. Same. I love all those things. I don't eat salmon. Not a big fan of salmon. I prefer tuna. John eats once at 11 a.m. and then once at 6:30 p.m. Captain Philly, 190, 22 years old. Oh, extra sentence. I've had to add fruit and even sourdough to not lose weight. You know what? I personally, if you are healthy, feeling good, your blood work is looking good and all that kind of stuff, a little bit of fruit and some homemade sourdough bread is not going to be the end of the world. It's, for everybody else that has some weight to lose and is concerned with their metabolic health, where that would be an issue. So if it's working for you, awesome. Lynette, hello. I lost 9 pounds fairly quick, but I have now stopped the weight loss. My concern is that I'm not eating enough. I eat until I'm satisfied. I don't eat dairy other than the heavy whipping cream in my coffee. Okay. How long have you been on carnivore? Do you track your food? Those are the 2 questions I have. Because unless we're tracking our food, we won't know if you're eating enough. And the stop in weight loss, how long has that lasted as well? If it's just a few weeks, that's okay. You're going to run into that. I don't think a true weight loss stall happens until you're like at 6 to 8 weeks where you're basically maintaining your weight. And then at that point, I would probably incorporate a few other things. Check out my weight loss stall video, Lynette, that I just released. It's you'll see it on my channel. I also linked it in the description of this live. That has my exact plan of how I got the scale moving again. And that could have some helpful tips in it that might help you. John, I just eat a big enough piece of pork loin and have bacon with my burgers. Sounds delicious. Hello from Russia. Very sorry to hear that you put carbs back in your diet because of sleep. 2 tablespoons of butter at night helps me. I think are you talking to Captain Philly? I have not added carbs back into my diet. Becca, on 1,600 calories a day, I only gain. So I'm one of those that eat between 1,250 and 1,400. Okay. That's very low. Very, very low. Let me see. What did I ask you? Trying to see if that's a continuation of a thought here. Because my brain is tired from working all the time. Doobie-doo-doo-doo. Okay, I make my own beef jerky and give that to the dog sometimes. Legend gone viral. How do you feel about honey in the diet or ketchup or barbecue sauce? Okay, so sauces. I think sugar-free sauces are fine. There's a barbecue sauce that is really good that has like 1 or 2 grams of carbs. I think it's Hugh's barbecue sauce, but you don't want to be drowning your meat in it, like 1 or 2 tablespoons. And I only eat that with brisket or with ribs. That's the only time I'm eating the barbecue sauce. Ketchup, I do Heinz, no sugar added ketchup is really good. It has like 10 calories and like no carbs, a few carbs, but nothing consequential. But again, I don't think you should be drowning meat in sauces. Honey, on the other hand, I do have an opinion about. Honey, I think, is a no-no for several reasons. First, it has so much sugar in it. And if you're metabolically unhealthy, your insulin is already high, you have high trigs and things like that. We don't need to be adding sugar in. The sweet taste can also trigger cravings and sugar addiction stuff. So if you're trying to break sugar habit, it's not, why throw more sugar in? The third thing is a lot of the honey in the United States is adulterated with corn syrup or other like regular sugar, things like that. It's very, very hard to find a honey that is pure. Even like ones that are labeled as raw, organic, honey, never processed, blah. It's very hard to find a high quality, true honey. So I would not include honey. And the amount of sugar in that would just, the carbs would just tank a carnivore diet. So no, I think people including honey in a carnivore diet, that would not be a carnivore diet anymore. That would be an animal-based or a meat-based. which can work for some people. But South Africa, thank you, Moses. I'm sorry. I had a total brain fart. I knew that. John, I can't do the sardines. A lot of people can't. They're hard to tolerate. I'll tell you. So I put these out because I'm doing a sardine fast right now. So these two sardines, this is Nuri. These are spiced sardines in olive oil from Portugal. And then these are Matisse. These are from Spain and they're in lemon. I have been loving these two. And then the Wild Planet sardines. Those are the ones from Costco. They're smoked, but it's been hard. I'm on day, 9 of a sardine fast. So I'm just like over it. These are tolerable. I can eat cans of these all day, but they're also like $5 a can. So I'm mixing these with the Wild Planet ones to make them more tolerable. But yeah, you got to find a sardine you like. Otherwise, you can't do a sardine fast, right? Rhonda, hello from Australia. Hello, Rhonda. Good to see you. All right, Becca, when I do 1,600 calories a day, I just don't lose, maintain, or stall. So, Becca, have you ever gone more than 1,600? Have you done like 2,000 or anything like that? How long have you been on carnivore? I'm interested. Rhonda, I love eating sardines for breakfast and mince for lunch. Sounds good. Sounds very good. Drop zone. What are we referring to? How do you deal with a spouse that loves eating out all the time? Yes, it's very expensive. Yeah, very, very expensive. I mean, we we pretty much only use Grubhub and all that kind of stuff when we're on vacation, like if we're at a hotel somewhere and we just don't feel like leaving. But other than that, I can't justify like an extra $20 to have the food delivered unless I can't leave wherever I am, things like that. At John the Beagle Dad, I love sardines, but I can't imagine doing a sardine fast like I've heard about. No way. You know what, Christine? I thought the same thing. I used to feel the same way. And then I tried one and I did 7 days and it was highly effective. It mimics the effects of a water fast. So for people that don't want to do a water fast, I find it very hard to not eat at all. Doing the sardine fast, which is just a version of a protein sparing modified fast, can be very helpful. If you hate sardines and you just cannot get over the taste of sardines, you can do a different kind of protein sparing modified. You could just do chicken. You could do another type of fish. The key is finding kind of like a higher protein item that doesn't have as much fat, and then you cut out the carbs. There's lots of different ways to do protein sparing modified fasting, and I don't think it's something that you should do for the long term unless you are obese. Then it can be very effective in dropping your weight quickly. But as you get leaner and leaner, using the protein sparing modified fast, I would do it for shorter periods of time. But yeah, it's easier than you think, Christine. I've been able to. Yeah, I don't know. I think that when you undereat calories for a long enough period of time, your body thinks that it's in famine mode, and I wouldn't say you gain fat. I think it's more your body holds on to all the fat that you have until you're truly starving. And then, of course, it'll release the fat. That I have seen. For overeating calories, yeah, if you did that for an extended period of time, your insulin was higher, and your body was in storage mode, sure, some of that can turn into fat. But there are instances where that is not true. But as with everything, everything is nuanced. Legend, I have more fat than her because I do butter a lot with my steak, boiled eggs, and more salt than her. I also am military, so I have mandatory workouts every other day. Okay. Yeah, that could be a thing. I mean, see if she can increase the fat a little bit, because the fat is where you get your fuel. And she might not just be eating enough food. That can be a reason why people aren't losing. So, yep, that's just what works best for Becca. Sherry, it's so hard to eat sometimes when you're not truly hungry, though. So true. I know. I feel you on that. I've been trying to get 5 to 6 cans of sardines in per day, and I'm just kind of like, ugh, I'm not hungry. I'm force feeding myself. And there's some days I just can't. I can't do it. It does suck. That's when I would think like if you're adding in a second meal because you need to eat more food, like if you're okay, here's the thing. If you're eating, you feel great, your energy levels are good, everything's going well, that's fine. But if you get to a point where you start having lower energy, feeling lethargic, feeling wiped out, just like having negative symptoms, and it might be related to not eating enough food, that's pretty common, then that's when you need to eat more food. If you are not truly hungry and you're feeling fine, listen to your body. But if you're starting to have detrimental effects, I would add in a second meal. And at that case, I would say try to eat, in the morning, right when you wake up, and then eat again later in the day so that's a long enough period of time between the two meals that you are starting to get a little bit hungry again, or at least you can fit more food into your stomach. But I would still keep the two meals between like an 8 hour inside of an 8 hour feeding window. I think that is that. All right, Lynette. So you've been carnivore for 2 months and don't track very well. Okay. Tracking can suck. I totally feel you on that. But in order to know if we are eating enough food, I feel like you should track for like 3 or 4 days. Just track exactly what you're eating right now. Get a handle on what your calories are, what your fat is, and what your protein is. And then that will answer your question. And then from there, if you are not eating enough food, add in some more food, and then see if that helps. If you're only 2 months in, you lost 9 pounds pretty quick, and now it's slowed down a bit. That's pretty normal. The first month I lost 8 pounds. Second month I only lost 2. And the third month I lost 5.5. And that's after I cut out all dairy, because the second month I had some dairy. So it's a process. It's a process. As long as you're feeling better and everything's going good, I would say just keep doing what you're doing and see if that helps. But tracking for a little bit can also give you some data. Ginger, weight is still fluctuating. I haven't measured yet. I have one more day of the chair climber, and I will take a maybe 7-day break and figure out another challenge since November is upon us, but not sure what. Awesome. I'm proud of you, Ginger. You're doing a really, really good job. So keep it up. Okay. Please tell me about Element. Thank you from beautiful Arizona, USA. Hello, hello. So I have a whole video that just came out last night on the whole Element electrolytes controversy. So I'm not going to really go into it here because I want to answer people's questions, but go check out that video. It's like 10, 11 minutes long. I did a couple of tests with a glucose meter, a ketone meter, and my Keto Mojo, and tested the effects of the flavored packets on my glucose and ketones and my husband's. Very interesting stuff. And I share my complete opinion on the whole Element thing. Rhonda, I love making and eating chicken soup as well. I just add a whole chicken to chicken broth and boil it. It's very delicious. I totally feel you on that. I love that. Now that it's getting into fall and winter, I love making soups. I'll just take a whole frozen chicken, stick it in my crock pot with either chicken broth or just water, and then just turn it on low and leave it for like a day. And then I pull all the bones out and add some seasonings. Good to go. It's amazing. Amazing. All right. Hello, hello. LKM Land Crypto. I just watched your Element video. Thanks for all the detail. Great video. Thank you so much. Element is one of my main sponsors, and I do legitimately use Element. It's not just like, oh, they're paying me to say that. I legitimately have used Element for a very long time. I used their raw unflavored in the beginning of carnivore, and now I don't really use that one much anymore. I drink these sparkling waters, like 1 or 2 of these a day. And neither the sparkling waters or the raw unflavored Element has maltodextrin in it. So that's what I recommend for people on carnivore. But their flavored packets do have some maltodextrin in it, higher levels than was originally thought. But I don't think it's a nefarious thing on Element's part. I really think it was an oversight. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Glad you watched the video. Everybody check that video out if you have not yet. Very interesting stuff. John, almost time for my daily walking with the dog. We do 5,000 to 6,000 steps together daily, weather permitting. Florida weather is hot. Yes, it is. It is so, so hot. Yes, walking is one of the most effective forms of exercise that anybody can do. If you are able to do some walking, throw some walking in. That can also be very helpful for weight loss stalls. Ginger will be next, but I'm feeling good most days. I am doing this for the body recomposition, so probably will gain before losing, but I trust the process and time it will take to change body comp. Yeah, 100%. Who knows what'll happen? I think a lot of this is just, kind of moving from sedentary to starting to move a little bit more. And now you're throwing in some strength training, and it's just progress, not perfection. Your body will respond to that. And just getting any kind of movement in general is going to be good for you. Lynette, what are your thoughts on homemade kombucha? I have not had a thought about that before, but if I'm thinking about it right now, I don't think it's a big deal. It's mostly like vinegar and other fermented things. As long as the sugar content isn't super high, I think a little bit can be really good for your microbiome and things like that. I probably wouldn't drink a store-bought one, but homemade sounds delicious, and I would like to try yours. I love kombucha. Okay, I would like to get used to something like sardines. I found the smoked sardines are much more tolerable than just plain. That's kind of what got me started with the sardine fast. I was like, oh, I can actually eat these smoked sardines. And that's how I knew I was able to try the sardine fast at least. Not sure what else to do except the body weight bearing exercises and the high intensity interval training walking workout. Yeah, I mean, start there and see where that leads you. I think your body isn't going to get to where it's like used to those right away. You've been doing this for like a month and a half, so I think you're good there. Wild Planet sardines and extra virgin olive oil, add a little chopped onion and key lime. That sounds good. That sounds really good. I'm using the Wild Planet. I've put some lemon on it, but that sounds delicious. John, been doing carnivore for a while now. Always been a slow loser, about 245. Started at 280. That's great. Still going. It's more about feeling good. Yes. Feeling good is important. That's the most important thing, in my opinion, honestly. All right, Lounge Boutique. Just had labs, liver enzymes, glucose, bilirubin. We're on the lower high side. I also have an autoimmune disorder. Would this diet be safe for me to try? Thank you. Yeah, for sure. So I would say use that as your baseline blood work, and then try carnivore, and then retest in about 3 months. Typically, what happens with liver, glucose, bilirubin, all that kind of stuff, you're going to see improvements there in most cases. Glucose typically regulates very quickly on a carnivore diet. Also, you're taking the burden off of your liver and kidneys of all the additional sugar and ultra-processed foods, vegetable seed oils, all that kind of stuff. When your body doesn't have to process all that stuff anymore, it takes the burden off of your organs. Also, when your blood glucose levels go down, that takes the burden off your organs too. Kidneys especially are very sensitive to high blood glucose levels, and it can damage them very quickly. So once you remove all that extra sugar from your diet, your body's going to be like, I can relax a little bit, So it'll be interesting to see. Is that a kid or was that a stomach? I think that might be a kid.
That's a kid.
I think one of my children is awake. We might have to end it soon. Will you have a carnivore pizza recipe in your book? Yes. Yes. And if you would like to check it out right now, head over to, which air fryer? I have 2 air fryer recipe videos. It's in one of them. Really, really good. Easy to make. To make carnivores taste good, I cut a tomato in half and then put it in the microwave for a minute. Add it to my sardines with a little salt and pepper. Tastes yummy. Sometimes I add small Tommy tomatoes. Ooh, that sounds good too. Sounds good. What's a good number of calories for a smaller built woman that needs to lose another 17 to 20 pounds? It really depends on so many things, Lynette. We can dive into all of those things on a coaching call. I have a link in the description that we can really dial in a plan for you. I think I need to update my hours though. So I'll put a note that I need to do that. But in general, I say a bare minimum, 1,600 to 1,800 calories. Becca just said in this that she really works well between 1,250 and 1,400. And that may work for her. I think for most people, though, you got to make sure you're getting enough nutrients. It's really hard to get enough nutrients with that low amount of calories. So Sometimes I know it sounds counterintuitive, but you need to eat more to lose. Um, I would say minimum 1600 to 1800 though. And I would say high fat, high fat. Try like 80% fat to 20% protein. Dietary fat does not make you fat. So, update. What's making people fat is carbohydrates and sugar. Calendly hours. So, I would start there. All right. Ginger is doing her workout right now. All right, guys, I'm going to get through the rest of these questions and then I got to go because my kid is going to be out here in a second and he will just touch everything. All right, John, I'm battling with hypothyroid and on Armor. Okay, great. Armor is the natural desiccated thyroid hormone. Very nice. I'm on my way to Florida and I'll treat you all. Yeah, I'll be down in Florida in January. Pretty excited about it. Where can I find beef tallow? So there are several companies. I think, oh God, what was that company that sells it? Epic. Just Google grass-fed beef tallow, and a ton of companies will come up. I make my own. I get a whole ribeye and I cut my own steaks and then I trim some of the fat off and I save that in a bag until I have enough and then I render my own tallow just by cooking it down, cutting it into pieces, cooking it down slowly, draining off the liquid fat and continuing the process until all of the beef fat that's left is just hard and crispy. Don, why did you choose the Monday through Friday 96-hour fast? Okay, great question. So right now I am writing a book. And the second half of that book is a cookbook. And we have a ton of recipes to cook. But I didn't want to just be eating a ton of food all week. And also, some of these recipes have dairy in them. And I usually do not consume much dairy because it's highly inflammatory for me, especially with the Hashimoto's. But I have to taste the recipe. I have to make sure it tastes good. You know, not everybody has that issue. So I do have some recipes in this cookbook that have some dairy. So in order to combat those things, I decided to cook on the weekends and then just do Monday through Friday fasting. It's just kind of what's worked out for us. My husband and I have a similar schedule, so it just seems to work. Yeah, that's why. Nothing fancy. All right. Okay. Only 2 weeks on the body weight chair climber so far, the HITT and the walking a month or two. Nice. Rhonda, have you ever tried celery salt with sardines? No, but I should. I have some. That actually sounds like a really, really good idea. Rita, I've sent you 2 chats. Why don't they show up? I do not know. That is a really good question. So I am streaming on StreamYard so that I can put the comments and stuff up on the screen. So it's going from YouTube over to StreamYard. Maybe there's an issue there. I've only seen this one. Do I have a video of the tallow process? Yeah, I do. It's a short though. Go on to my YouTube channel and there is a short form video of me making tallow. It's also on my Instagram. Yeah. All right, guys, we made it to the bottom. I love it. It was so good to talk to all of you. I am going to go now and see what my kid's up to. Chrissy just finished a 28-day sardine fast. Wow. Lost 11 pounds. Good for you. That's amazing. Oh, I couldn't do 20. I don't want to say I couldn't do 28 days because I could if I put my mind to it, but I wouldn't want to. Let's just say that. But excellent job. That's wonderful. All right, guys. I'm going to try to do another one of these here next week. But again, we'll see. I got to get this book done. Thank you so much for joining me. It was awesome to talk to all of you and see you. And I will talk to you very soon. All right. Bye-bye.